or welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma and today we are doing the first of probably many episodes of destash for this year. So if you've been around for a while, you know this was kind of a project all of last year, but I also kind of failed because I was buying a lot of yarn last year. Things have changed. I did buy yarn in December because I was doing some gift projects, I was catching up on things, sales, whatever. I got yarn again in December, but right now I'm back home and it's time for me to reevaluate all the yarn I have at home, count it all up again because I'm pretty sure I've messed up my count now, count it all up again, and kind of go through everything with you guys for destash 2025 because I still want to get this down. A, because I'm going to be crocheting, but B, because I do still feel like it's a bit of yarn. I think it's a lot better. I feel much better about it, honestly, but I do kind of just like the thought of like not having a lot. So yeah, first thing I'm doing today, and I've started already, I already went through the other day and kind of went through my yarn, got rid of some stuff that I know I wasn't going to use, but I'm going to go through that again just with a fresh set of eyes. And then today I'm going to start recording all the yarn because I want to make like a Google Doc like graph of everything. So then I'm going to write it down, but I'm also going to have it online because I think it's a little easier for me to keep track of things when they're on my computer. So I'm going to start doing that today. But I also need to kind of add up. I don't know where in this video the footage is going to be, if you've seen it already or not. We'll find out in the editing. But I do have footage of all the stuff I have back at school. So I need to kind of write that down too and make sure I'm counting that. But yeah, so it's a bit of an organization today. And then after I'm done organizing, I will take you through what I have and some plans probably for the new year and stuff like that. Also, before I forget and I start recounting everything, according to the I've been writing down all year what I use up and what I bring in, and according to this tally, I'm at 205 balls of yarn. When I'm counting yarn, I don't do yardage or weight or anything. If it's a self-contained ball of yarn, it's counting as one. Even if I have like multiple yarns that are the same in different amounts, one ball is one ball. So right now I'm at 205. We'll see if I messed up the math somewhere. So yeah. Okay, after lots of counting and taking pictures and sorting later, I have final numbers. So before I explain, I need to preface with last year and into this coming year, when I'm destashing, I'm only destashing, or focusing I should say, on like my personal yarns. I have a lot of Wait For acrylic and burlap blanket yarns that I got, that I do mostly for like orders and market kind of items. And I'm not actively destashing those this year because I'm not actively doing markets and orders, but it would be kind of irresponsible for me to just like get rid of it all because the chance of me doing markets and stuff again is very likely, and I'd hate to have to rebuy all of that just because I didn't want it now. So it's in storage now and it's fine just sitting there. The stuff I'm destashing is like my personal stuff that I like. There's only so much yarn that I can have sitting around for personal projects, so that's where like the destash efforts are focused. Because also now when I buy yarn, it's for like all of last year when I bought yarn, it was for myself mostly. I was very rarely buying like a Wait For acrylic to work on something. I did have to sometimes, but it wasn't like the problem. The problem was the yarn that I buy for projects for myself. So that all being said, the total amount of yarn I have in my personal stash is 164 balls, which is lower than the 205 that I had at the beginning of this count. I know part of it is I have destashed a couple, but then I think some of the ones that were in my personal stash I moved over to the work acrylic stash because I'm not using them for personal stuff like I thought I would, so I'm pretty sure that's what the bulk of it was. So yeah, 164 in the personal stash, and I have 45 balls of burnout blanket, only 4 of like other chunky yarns. I'm looking at them now, and it's like those plush yarns from Michaels. I have 4 of those, and then my Wait For acrylic stash is 170. So I have more acrylic than I do personal, which is, like I said, fine, but we're gonna not worry about that this year. Maybe when I'm done with school and I'm back in one place and I'm doing markets, we can work on destashing that, but that's, again, really not the problem here, or I should say not the focus. I really don't think having a stash my size is a problem. I don't think most stashes are like problems, but for the sake of I'm traveling so much between school and home, and there's only so much yarn a 120-year-old should have, that's why we're destashing. And I also just kind of feel cluttered. Some of it I've had for a long time and it's just been sitting around, so that's what that's about. What else do I want to say about this? Yeah, so my other thing with destash is, like, it's not a race. The whole point of, not the whole point, I guess, but crochet is one of those things that it's supposed to be slow, it's supposed to last for years, it's supposed to be an activity you do for a long time. So especially with the acrylic stash, the 170, I'm simply not worried about. I don't have to be. There's no rule saying like I have to crochet all through all these things. Like, it's just not something I want to worry about. I am going to, I know for a fact, even before I go to school, I'm gonna be going through some, because I'm working on a sweater right now with that acrylic yarn. So like, I know I'm gonna be even below 170 by the time I leave for school. So yeah, I know that was kind of very chatty, but basically right now I have everything written out like that, and I don't have time right now because I have to get ready for work soon-ish, so I'm kind of pausing this for now. But when I have another day that I can film in daylight, I'm going to go through again, probably not all of the personal yarn, but some of the highlights and stuff that I have like ideas for, I want to share, as trying to keep myself accountable for things I want to make this year, and B, just to share some inspiration. And also, it's going to be like one last pass of, if I can't actually visualize making a project with a yarn, or I need to get another yarn to actually make that project, that might mean I need to destash it. So that's going to be for another day, but probably the next thing you see on here. So, well, yeah. We are in my campus apartment because that's where we're starting this video. It's gonna end back in Texas, but I had to start it here because I have yarn here. So, you know, had to get the ball rolling. But I wanted to kind of take inventory because it is Friday and I go back to Texas on Tuesday. And so I need to figure out, A, how much yarn I have here, B, what I'm taking back to Texas to work on, and then what I'll be able to bring back from Texas, and then like kind of how I'm gonna pack that up, and all that details I'll go over more once I'm back there. But yeah, this is all, with the exception of a little bit of temperature blanket yarn on the floor here. This is all the yarn that I have here in New York. I'll start with these yarns next. These yarns, they're the assorted weight 6 yarns that I have. And I have some more of these in Texas, but these are the ones I have left because I have been making these hexagons throughout the semester. And when I'm done making hexagons out of all of this yarn that I have, I want to make a blanket. So what I have left that I haven't used are 2 Lion Brand woolies in this raspberry color, Lion Brand Hometown in the color Portland Wine, and then Loops and Threads Cozy Wool in Thunder. So these 4 I have, they're just gonna stay here and I'll work on it next semester, because that's kind of what I work on when I kind of like have nothing else to do and I'm in between projects, or I'm really tired and I don't want to follow a pattern or think of something. I kind of just whip those out when I can. And then I have 5 of these Lion Brand 100% Superwash Merino balls in the color Midnight Blue, and I did buy these myself in August before I left. to come to school. I wanted to use my employee discount one more time. So I got 5 of these, and I wanted to make like a fitted long sleeve cardigan top kind of thing. So I only got 5. I might switch my plans to more of like a baggy or bigger sweater, which I can do, I think, perfectly fine because this is a commercially made and sold yarn. So I'm not too worried about, even if it is a different dye lot, like it looking different. And I have so much of it, I can take it into the Joann's and like match as well as I can. So I'm not worried about that. And then I have 4 of these Loops and Threads Luxe Merino wool blend. It's hold on. In the color avocado, it's 55% superwash merino and 45% acrylic. So it feels really soft. It does have wool in it, and it's way more affordable than 100% wool. And there's 410 yards, so I have 4 of these, and that should be enough to make some kind of sweater. If not, again, I can buy more. But I think I wanted to make like a long sleeve, so I was anticipating needing less. I think that's what I said. So those are my sweater quantities, and then I have some hanks and other things that are kind of one-offs, kind of small amounts that I did have plans for that I just haven't gotten around to yet. But the first 2 are these 2 I got from a local yarn shop in Texas. This one is Chaos Fiber Co. and this one is Bad Frog Yarn. And I wanted to make socks out of these. I mean, I still can make socks, and I probably will just because it's such a small amount and they're fingering weight. So, and they're like good sock blends. They're merino, and they have some, this is 100% merino, and this has nylon in it. So that's very much can be socks. These I got in Austin, Texas, over the summer, and I do also want to make socks out of these. These are both fingering weight, but these are 100% lamb's wool, and these are from Biche Bouche, I think it's called, but it's just Syracuse colors, and I wanted to make Syracuse socks, and I now have a pattern that I think will work super well. Do I think this is way too much yarn for that pattern? Yes. So we'll see. The thing is, I was super paranoid when I was buying these yarns because I did not know for sure how much yarn I would need to make socks, and I didn't want to not have enough. And so I made these socks this semester, and this is a fingering weight yarn, and I want to say I used less than 100 grams total. But yeah, this is a 50 gram skein, and this is, hold on, and this is 50 grams. So this actually, I probably was smart doing this because I think I used like 80-ish grams. I could be completely lying. I know I said it in the video I made about those socks, how much I used, but I want to say I'll be able to go through, I'll use more than this, but I don't think I'll use a full. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I've talked way too much about this. The other thing I got this from this place called Spare Parts San Antonio, and it's like a craft thrift store. They call it a creative reuse center, and this just gave me such aggressive Grinch vibes that I had to get it, and I still don't know what I'm gonna make with it. I need to know, I love the Grinch. I love the Grinch so bad. My phone is propped on a Grinch tumbler. I bought this green bow from Target because it gave me Grinch vibes. Like, it's a fuzzy green bow. I have a Grinch keychain in this corner. That green speck is the Grinch. So I originally was gonna make a bow kind of like this one with this, but now I don't know what I'm gonna make. I don't know if this is enough for hand warmers, but I might go like ear warmer vibe because there is such a limited amount. So that's honestly something I can do really easily. So I might take this like as a travel project. I don't know, but I still have it. And then these 2 I got from the New York State Fair. They have a wool center like in the middle of the fair. They have like, there's these little old ladies that are super sweet and show you how to like spin wool, and they have hand-dyed yarns, and they bring in yarn from local makers. So this is 2 grams of merino sport weight yarn from Cece's Wool. I just got them as a souvenir from the fair. And then finally, I have 3 balls of Lion Brand woolies, not the chunky one, just the regular woolies, in the plain old color Fisherman. And I got these 3 because I want to make a scarf, and I'm going to make a scarf. That's like actually what I'm doing this weekend. But yeah, I got here and I was like, I don't have enough winter accessories, and it's very, 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 very cold. So I bought yarn. I don't love 100% wool because it's kind of scratchy, and this one has acrylic in it, so it's a lot softer. And it was affordable, and I was at Michael's, and I got it. I don't know, because it says on here, like, you can use 2 to make a scarf, but I think I'm going to make quite a big scarf, so I might need more. But similar to my other Lion brand things, this is very readily available in multiple stores that I will have access to when I go home, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, that is all the yarn I have here that I'm keeping. Good morning. Today is a very exciting day. We're going to spare parts. We're going to spare parts because I need to donate some yarn that I've destashed, and also I want to see if there's any more of like this type of yarn for my hexagons, if you know what I'm talking about. Great. Also, not really yarn related, not really yarn, but yarn related, I got this at work yesterday. The box is falling apart, but I finally have a Swift, so I'm going to be able to take this back to school and actually effectively wind up all the hanks that I have, because I had a yarn winder, I didn't have a Swift yet, and we had this, so I got it. But yeah, all this is getting donated. I did also change my glasses before I left because I didn't want to wear the other ones. They didn't have the yarn I went looking for. They didn't. I also donated a bunch of yarn, so don't come at me. But I did get these. Also, they were $15. What the hell? Because that place used to be like they would sell, like, you could find like pretty good stuff and it would be like super like less than I expected, and these were $15 each. I was like, I could go to the yarn store and get wool for $15. Like, what? But I wanted them because they were pretty, and my mom was getting it for me. So anyways, I got these 2. I'll probably make some kind of accessory. I could make another pair of mittens with this. I know I've made mittens with less than 100 grams, but I'll have to see. But yeah, that's all I got. I have less time today than I thought because I have work at 3 and it's like noon. I wanted to do some yarn destash organization today, but I think I'm not going to. So we'll get back to the rest of this video a different day. Okay, it is January 1st. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. And I have not only a final number, but I'm going to go through some of the yarn I have, plans for it, and then kind of, I guess, rules for the year. Because last year, yes, was a destash year. But I do this because, oh my god, I got so much yarn. And I really can't do that this year. Similar to last year, but more so than ever, is like I can't really afford to buy yarn. I am in fact a college kid working minimum wage. So there's no really like, there's not usually spare funds to get yarn. So I have to be really responsible about that. You know, I'm becoming an adult for real, for real. But I wanted to go through some of the yarn I have just because I do have some of this yarn I've had all of last year, I think, and I didn't get around to using it for multiple reasons. So I kind of have more solid plans now, and I want to just go through some that I'm excited for. I guess this could also be a January plans, but you know. Also, in an effort to be more organized and like not forget things this year, I made a Google Doc, like a chart with a picture of all my yarn and how much I have of it, and kind of if I had an idea for it, what that idea is. Some things have no ideas. Some things have set plans. Actually, before I get into my plans, I want to kind of go through how I'm organizing, how I'm categorizing yarn, what counts as like destashing, what I am and not worried about, and also temperature blanket stuff. So right now I have a total of 152 balls of yarn. I know I counted 160. Oh, I'm talking about my personal stash because I have gone through this. My personal stash, I had 164. I got rid of some because I know I'm not going to use it. Where is it actually? So I had a bunch of this furry yarn. I'm trying to grab it. I had a bunch of this furry yarn that I thought I probably was enough for 2 different sweaters, but they're a little too funky for me, I think, to wear. Like, they'd be fun to make, but I think I wouldn't wear them. But I really want to make like a little like monster stuffed animal with like scrappy yarns and different textures and add buttons and eyes and random things. So I kept one of each of the fuzzy yarns for that project specifically. So that's what the destash was this morning. And then what I was talking about going to the yarn store is my mom might take me to the yarn store. And there is 2 things I like will allow myself to buy this year, I guess. There's 2 skeins of yarn that I like will allow myself to get this year, no questions asked. One of them I'm expecting to get sooner than later, and one of them I'm gonna try to push off until like December or like Christmassy time, because okay, I know I said I'm not doing plans, but for context, I have all of these fingering or sport weight, mostly superwash yarns, and I want to make a granny square sweater, but with this color palette, me and my mom decided, it's kind of hard to see, but this is like a speckled brown, this is a plain tan, and this is brown and blue, and then like these reds. We kind of decided that I need like a dark brown just to kind of fill out the dark color palette, and this was all not cheap yarn. And I want to make a project that I will wear, that I'm not like sacrificing things for the sake of the project. So I want to get a dark brown skein of fingering weight or sport weight yarn to go with this to kind of round out the palette. I think dark brown is the only color I'll need, but this is the project where I'm like, if some measures need to be taken to like get yarn to fix this one I do want to do that. And then the other one is I did an order of 1 skein of sock yarn from Sorella. She did a limited time Tis the Damn Season color, which is a Taylor Swift song, but it was like her holiday limited edition colorway kind of thing. And that was a few weeks ago, and I ordered that, and it's not supposed to arrive till January, but I want to make socks out of it. But I am to this day still not sure if I can make socks with 100 grams of yarn. So if I can't, I need to get an accent color. Oh my god. So I want to get like a sock, because that one's very variegated, and I'll insert a picture if I remember, but I want to get like a solid to go with that if I need it, but that'll be later in the year, I think. Other than that, I told myself that because I really want to remake my Emma sweater, so if I go down, I think I said 100, but I already am at 150, so I might make that like 75. If I get down to like 75 balls of yarn and I have the money, I'll buy yarn for my Emma sweater, because I'm going to spend pretty much all year in Syracuse, and there's a local yarn store pretty close to school, and I want to support them, but like I want this sweater to be, this is another one where I want it to be nice, so I'll spend the money, but I have to get down to, I think 75 balls is a bit better because I'm already at 150, so I need to like make it hard to do. But yeah, part of the problem last year, I think, is one of the rules was I could get yarn if I needed to finish a project, but that ends up being like really counterproductive, and I don't think I have the yarn I have kind of like, I've found projects, or I think I can find projects where I don't need to get more yarn, so that really shouldn't be a problem. So that's not a thing. I'm just not buying yarn, quite frankly, except for those 2. You know what I mean. The other thing is, for my temperature blanket, I don't count my temperature blanket in my stash because I can't control the weather, and if I need to get more yarn, I have a whole video. I'm going to make a whole video about temperature blankets, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I did get 11 balls of this Lion Brand Heartland that again is not counting in the stash, but I thought you should know I do have it. And that's what this bag is. This is my 2025 temperature blanket yarn. And yeah, that is, did I even say rules? Only get those 2 projects, new yarn. No buying yarn otherwise. If I get down to 75, I can get a sweater's quantity. Temperature blanket doesn't count. Yeah. For my organizational needs, I guess, I am going to keep track of the acrylic, Bernat, and chunky yarn that I go through, but I'm not actively working on it because I do think I'm going to have projects that I go through it. So I want to like know, but I'm not going to like worry about that, if that makes sense. So yeah, time to get into some ideas for projects. I feel like I should go like with what I'm going to probably make soonest. Because it's wintertime. So I have a lot of accessory plans because it's going to be cold in New York. So the first thing I have just right in front of me is 4 balls of this Patton's, what is this called? Classic wool worsted. I have orange and blue and 2 cream. And if you are on the internet a lot right now with knit and crochet, Aver P made this thing called a scooty, and I don't think it's that new of a concept, but it got really popular, and I want to make a version of it. I don't like how like it's just 2 squares, so it gets kind of like pointy at the top. I want to do like 2 big squares and like small squares down the middle, and then it's like basically a hood attached to a scarf, and this should be enough to make that. So I want to do that. I have several scarf ideas. So there's that one that's like a scarf and a beanie thing, but then I also saw this like spiral scarf the other day, and I think I'm not sure, I have to watch the video again, but I think I can use these to make it because these are a merino like boucle, and this is a merino, I think it just says merino stripes, but it like changes colors, and I feel like the purples go together, and then there's all this red, so I think that will be really cool, but I don't know if this is enough to make that. And then I have 4 of these other red boucles that I want to make another scarf out of. This is the thing, I don't know if this is too many scarves, but I don't have any, like, I don't know what else I can make with like this not too much yarn. Like it's not enough for a sweater for me, so I'm kind of like stuck. Oh, and then I have this big ball, which I also want to make a scarf out of because I think it would be really cool. Like all of these color changes, I think would be a cool scarf. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I already have 1 at school and 1 currently making. Is 6 scarves too many for one person to own? If you have ideas for any of these yarns that aren't a scarf, and honestly probably not a hat because I don't wear beanies that often, and I have 1 beanie at school and I want to make one with this yarn, and then I also have a hood at school, and the balaclava scooty thing is also kind of a beanie, so I'm like kind of set on beanies as well. But I don't know, the next thing I have quite a bit of yarn for is socks. I have 2 of these oranges and 2 of these blue. These are the exact same yarn. I have no idea why they come in different forms. This is Le Petit lamb's wool, 100% lamb's wool, made in the UK from Biche and Bouches. I'm gonna make socks out of this. I just don't know when. But that was 4 socks. I want that to be socks. End of discussion. I got this sock set last year from Sorella, and I'm too scared to use it because I made 1 successful pair of socks, and I'm still not sure. I am sure that I used less than 100 grams, but I don't know if I used less than this for the contrast color. Like, I'd probably be fine with this, but I think I need another contrast color, but I kind of don't want to worry about that right now. Potentially could use the same contrast color as the Sister Damn Season socks. Maybe I'd have to just order a Sorella color. I don't know. Again, these are probably going to be a later project because I am scared. Basically. And then I know I have sock yarn at school, which I'm sure I've talked about before and I'll talk about eventually. So just know there's at least two other yarns that can and will probably be socks. I knew there was more accessory problems, pattern ideas. Anyways, I ordered yarn from Shein and Temu. Don't do that, because I want to test it out for a video, but I didn't want to buy a lot of it because I had no idea how it would show up. So I also think I'm gonna make scarves, hats, accessories. I don't know. From Shein, I have 4 of these very, very thin, color changing, I believe wool. I do think it's wool. I don't know if it's mixed with stuff, but it said wool. It feels like wool. I don't know. But I have 4 of these, but they're so thin. I'm not sure what to make. Like, I think a scarf might take forever. I could hold it double. I don't know if it will really go with this. I don't know. So, again, need ideas for that. And then from Temu is actually a little bit more enticing, so I got more. 3 balls of navy blue mohair. Fun stuff. Let me see if I can get a thread. And it looks like that. And then I got 2 balls of this cashmere blend, and I say that lightly because there's only 10% cashmere in it. But I think I wanted to make a clover beanie with this, or it was some kind of cosmati pattern. Maybe, I know I want to make fingerless gloves. I don't remember with what yarn. That's the problem, is I had yarn ideas, pattern ideas when I got this, and I forgot what they are. So that's really exciting. And then also from Temu, I got a 5-pack of this, and this is 85% merino and 15% polyester. So I kind of love this. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so squishy. I believe it's like a worsted weight, but I have 5 of these, and I need to wear them at school. But it says common weight 100 grams. So if anyone knows what you can do with 500 grams of worsted weight yarn, fuck, is this gonna have to be a scarf? This is what I mean. Is now I'm like, I have too many accessory patterns. So I think I'll go through the Shein and Temu yarn first because I want to make a video with that. And then whatever yarn I have and accessories I feel like I want after that, maybe that's what I'll do. I really don't know. This is going to be a process. Okay. I'm going to go with what's in front of me. I may regret this. I'm also not showing everything, just, again, some highlights. I have like 2.5, 2 3/4 of this Kobu yarn. Gonna make a tank top. Also, sorry for speeding up because I realized I've been chatting for a while. All of this is patent silk bamboo. Also gonna be a tank toppy vibe for the summer. This bag, this is Queensland Collection tweed, recycled tweed, so it's a mix of fibers. Gonna be a vest, I think. This green one is Lion Brand Soft and Simple. It's discontinued, but it's a natural blend. Gonna be a tank top, maybe short sleeve, summer top. This, I don't know. This is 100% cotton, but it's not that much, so I might destash it, but it might be a vest or like loose tank top, beach cover up. I'm not sure about this one. That's like the one I'm the least sure about probably. Then I have this 100% cotton yarn that I want to make a bag out of. So I have 4 of these small teal and 1 of this big white. I want to make like a summery beach tote, like kind of like a heavy duty tote bag kind of thing with this yarn. I have 15. Okay, we're completely switching now. I guess onto blankets, because I have surprising amount of like ideas I want to make. I love blankets, and I don't want to travel with blankets, but like in my head I can travel with yarn, which is somehow better. So right now I've already started, but I have 15 left of assorted chunky weight yarn that I'm going to make hexagons out of, and then that's going to be a blanket. I have 4 of these Lion Brand Jiffy that I was going to make a sweater out of, but it's not the right yarn for the sweater I want to make. I mean, I guess I could make a sweater out of it, but it would be quite a chunky one, so I don't think so. I think I want to just make a nice green blanket. Have 4 of these. They're huge, like huge, so that's going to be a good blanket. And you can't really see it, but back there, there's like there's 4 colors of yarn. Sorry, hold on. Right there. is some acrylic yarn that I really want to make like a granny square blanket out of. We'll see if that happens, but I do really want to do it. Now we are on to garments, and I already told you about the fingering weight granny square sweater. I also have 4 of these. Whoa, I've caked them up now, but they are the Lion brand Little Bit of Everything, another discontinued yarn from Joann that I got on clearance at work. I have 4 of these, and I want to make another vest similar to the blue vest. We'll get a picture. Similar to the blue vest that I made this past November. I don't remember if I finished it in November or December, but I want to redo that pattern because I want to shrink it. I want to crop it slightly and like fix the shoulders. And this should be not plenty, but should be enough to make that. And I think I could really get wear out of a red one, honestly. And then I have 5 balls of this Noro yarn. Now, when I first got this, I splurged. This stuff was so expensive. And then I hadn't touched it for over a year. And because I thought it was too rough and too like woolly. And now that I've come back to it, it's actually not that rough. So I want to make a sweater out of it. I just don't know. I'm still going to like keep thinking on it. I've contacted the yarn store I got it from because this is a really expensive yarn. And it's in perfect condition still, like all 5 of the balls. And so I emailed them and I was like, would y'all do like an exchange? Because if I could, like, I think I could make something out of it, but I'm so scared I'm not gonna like the finished result. And so if I could just exchange it for something that I know I can use, that would be great. But they haven't gone back to me. So I'm gonna take this back to New York because I got it from the yarn shop in New York. And I'm gonna think really hard about maybe like really research a pattern I want to make maybe. And this might be a sweater this year, but it might sit around for a little longer. But that's an idea. A sweater that I have absolutely no anxiety over. This very quite the opposite big twist yarn from Joann, and it is 100% acrylic, and it's this really cool, I don't know how to describe this, but I want to make just a plain old drop shoulder made with panels crew neck. I'm super excited to do that. I might probably do this like as soon as I get back, honestly. I made a sweater with Bernat Forever Fleece Finest in the fall, and I loved it, and I wore it so much, so I want to make a very similar one, just with some slight adjustments. I want to say that is the gist of my yarn plans and ideas. Actually, let me look at my computer one more time. If I missed anything crazy. There is some stuff at school that, like, you're not really missing out on, I guess. Like, yeah, actually. I should start gifting things, really, is what I should be doing, but, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Very excited to go into this new year and hopefully really get some of this stuff down. I would love to have more crocheted pieces, and I have the yarn for it. But yeah, I tried to have realistic goals and realistic rules, and if I end up having to destash more because I can't find a project for it, someone else will enjoy the yarn. But that's kind of the jumping off point. I don't think I forgot anything. If not, I'll probably talk about it in the end of the month in the podcast episode. But yeah, that's where we're going so far. I'm not going to show what I'm packing and stuff because I'm going to probably vlog that. But that's what this year is looking like. I want to really be real about this no buy this year. So hopefully it goes. Let me know below if you're doing no buy, if you think you should do no buy, if you're kind of good with your stash, if you have yarn you want to, like, let me know what your yarn's looking like this year. I would love to hear it. But yeah, that is all from me today. I hope you had a great Christmas, holiday, New Year. I know it's kind of a weird time for a lot of people, so hopefully you're doing what you love and you're crocheting or knitting or whatever. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. There's a bunch of links below with all my other socials and links to support me. And yeah, I will see y'all next week. Bye!